Hi, I'm Peter Brett from TOOLKiT magazine, and today we'll be looking at this new wonderful FEIN Multimaster. Now the FEIN range has recently been slightly rebranded or reorganised in a way to take into account, instead of basing it on the fixings, is to simplify it by referring to three different models: the 300, the 500 and the 700. And I've been lucky enough to be sent one of these, the FEIN Multimaster 700. Now this is a Starlock Max machine. Now perhaps I ought to explain the difference. If you can see these, there's the Starlock Plus and the Starlock Max fitting. The Starlock Max 700 will only the Starlock Max 700 will fit all the Starlock fittings. So that's a Starlock Max, and that's a Starlock Plus. Fits very nicely and very safely. The smaller models, the 300 and the 500, will only take up to Starlock Plus cutters. Right? So let's take a closer look at what you get with the thing. So clearly you get a nicely appointed box. It's actually a really useful box. More than once I've used it for cutting on because it's nice and flat. And you've got this interesting handle design, which means you can carry it in three different handles, which is very useful sometimes when you're carrying two cases at once. One of the neatest cases I've ever come across. Each thing fits beautifully. Got a spare battery pack there, the plug and the wire, never difficult, and the charger, not difficult to put away, and then you've got more than enough space for extra cutters here. I usually overflow into here, but it's quite possible to have another, not quite another battery pack, but yeah, certainly extra blade storage. This machine was sent with the standard, this machine was sent with the 3 amp hour battery pack. As you can see, it's quite a lot smaller than the standard 5 amp hour battery pack, but don't fret, this machine is so energy efficient that you don't use a lot of current and a lot of power in sort of everyday work. I reckon you can rely on that battery pack for at least 2 days, if not more. Another key feature, apart from obviously the revolutionary Starlock system, which basically put these machines into a world of their own, into a class of their own, or should I say, is the anti-vibration head. Now that means that that's sort of independent, it can move independently. So a lot of that vibration that's at the head just stays at the head. It doesn't come through onto your hand and onto your fingers. So that's a really good safety feature. Over here we have the speed setting. I rarely go beyond 3, to be honest, for most things, cutting and sanding. But just to show you the difference, let's feed it up a bit. So that's about 3. A lot quieter at 1. But as you can hear, that's going really very, very fast. You have to be pretty slick to control that. So I reckon that's probably only for for those cases where you really need that speed. I think that pretty well covered it. Right. In front of me is a small selection of cutters that I was sent by FEIN to look at. Some I've acquired myself, ones that I've used on jobs that I've been doing, and you know, they increase the range of and capacity of this wonderful machine by an amazing amount. It is basically, the more cutters you get, the more jobs you'll be able to do, and the more confident you will become in thinking about this as your go-to problem solving machine. Right, so if we just move slightly this way, and this is the sanding section. Your basic sanding one is a delta. Again, very quick and easy, fit on, fit off. Starlock Plus. It's got holes in it at the base, and of course the deltas have holes in them too, to fit the newly designed dust extraction system that fits underneath here. Unfortunately I haven't got an example of that, but it doesn't stop there, because you've got the little mini delta, which is fantastic for getting into tiny spaces, as you can see. And then when you really are struggling and you want to get things that are a bit bigger, you've got the much bigger delta, and that also dust extracted, and you know, very, very capable. You see you've got a couple of spare deltas in there. Right, we're heading slowly from the sanding section. We've all seen those wonderful grout joints and bits of leftover tile adhesive that need removing. Why? How better to deal with them than these carbide, very sharp carbide, hard, rigid blades that do a fantastic job. See, I've still got a little bit of tile adhesive clinging to that one. Works fantastically at getting rid of stuff like that. Saves a lot of time. Cutting. This is sort of like a mini. It works a bit like a mini circular saw. Fantastic thing because it's actually more accurate in many ways. It can be more accurate because you can put it in at whatever angle you want, and you can set it so that you can sort of run it along an angle. You can use your finger as a fence or a guide, and it works very, very well. Often for things that are quite difficult to cut. You know, you couldn't cut them in as a proper circular saw because they're simply too small or too flimsy to use. Two sizes of that, a larger size and a smaller size. This one actually isn't a Starlock. Cut that out. So show that one. Don't show that one. Only show that one. Right. If we're sticking with the sort of wood theme, basically what I've done is I've gathered the wood ones here, and they are divided into the sort of standard wood ones and their precision ones. This one is a precision one. You can see those teeth. They will like make any sharp feel unhappy, those ones, because they are so sharp and so long, and they are very, very, very efficient at cutting, very quick. And that one's a straight bottomed one, but if you go to this one, got the precision standard curved blade, but because it rocks like that according to the oscillation, it's actually much easier to get started in the cut and keep in the cut. And then it goes from large to small. This one is a fairly small size one, and we go to the even smaller one, which gives you a little keyhole cut. Again, it's the sort of cut where really only that one will do. It does a fantastic job of just making small apertures and that sort of stuff, or very, very controlled cuts that are needed sometimes in kitchen fitting and so on. Still cutting, come to the bimetal version, so that if you're cutting away and you come across, unfortunately, a nail or a screw or something like that, this will keep you happy. Because it will survive cutting off a screw or two, more than two usually. This is one that I found enormously useful. This is the longest blade that cutting blade that I've used. You'll notice it's got the Starlock Max fitting. The Starlock Max will only fit on this 700. Very, very big oscillation. Great for reaching behind soffits and fascias, or behind things where the length of being able to reach a nail or a screw or something is to cut. Really important. Some more curved blades, again for easy access, but you can see the difference in the size between the curved one. So that's for a smaller cut, that one's for a larger cut. Now we come to the special materials. Perhaps I'll start with this one. Again, a Starlock fitting, so will only fit onto the 700, and that perfect for removing seals from windows, from double glazed windows and car windscreens. So it's been specially designed for that, with a curve on it and obviously a hook in it so that it can reach into corners, that sort of stuff. Very, very useful. This one, another special materials, but this one's got the standard Starlock fitting. That will fit usefully for under scraping underneath things, lifting glass out of frames, getting rid of putty, scraping up bits of bitumen adhesive or other kinds of adhesive. Very nice job to do. So you can see that basically you're limited only by your own imagination and ability and what cutters you can get. The more cutters you get, the more jobs you'll be able to do, and this machine won't let you down.
Seem to be doing a blooming thing.
So that thing.
I'll have to look through that then. That.
Yeah, you can look through that, or you can see that, but you'll probably have to look better through there. Right.
Hang on. Does it not come on instantly? Oh.
No. Okay, is that? Mm-hmm. Okay, you can stop. I want to come a bit closer. Okay, that's all I need.